All right, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's episode, a couple of things we're gonna do. For one, I'm gonna introduce you guys to a good friend of mine, Holly. I was actually in the military with Holly back when I was an airman. Shoot, the first time we ever met was working on your bike.
Yeah,
literally.
You had just wrecked yours.
Yeah, just wrecked mine. And he hits me up, he goes, hey, I wanna do what you did to your bike, not the wreck part, but polishing the wheels.
Yeah.
And he came over, and that was during MySpace days, but so that was 20 years ago, 2005.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 20 years ago, we've been riding motorcycles together, and he just picked up a new bike, and we're gonna do something fun on it. He ordered a fairing kit, the Advanblack ST fairing. If you guys aren't familiar with it, we're going to explain it to you here in a second. But first, big announcement. This channel is just over 2 years old. We've never had any official sponsors, and Thundermax, our good friends over there in Tennessee, want to sponsor the channel. So they hooked us up with a little merch kind of goodie box. We're gonna do a little open, see what they send us. All right, let's open this box up. So Jake, Ryan, you've seen those guys on the channel, Bobby. Man, hell yeah. They wanted to get us some merch over. Actually, I'm wearing one of these right now. There you go. Got nice. You one. Another hat. So I'm really loving these new hats. I know the flat bill thing's been in for a long time, but I'm getting back into the curved bill. Call me old, but I really like these hats. What do we got here? Oh, banners. They got a new line of banners that they're making. These are actually cloth banners. That's super cool. Oh, more banners. Man, what is in here? We got pins. I'm gonna open this shirt and show you guys. That one's a really cool shirt. Socks. Who doesn't love socks? Jesus Christ. How many socks? What? All right, this is getting ridiculous. There's a lot of stuff in here. Stickers. All right, so this is a PG channel, but we got.
I'm not retired.
Yeah, we don't know what those things are. We'll let you guys figure that out. Some more stickers. Man, they got a little bit of everything going on. Sure, this is a really cool shirt. Jake kind of showed me the design of this, but this is, ta-da, Justin's bike. So his FXR is on the front, kind of got that old school vibe there. 1995, so the company was actually founded in 95. Back then, they used to do a lot more hard parts. If you ever get the chance to actually go to their White House location in Tennessee, they have a wall full of, like, I don't want to call it like their museum, maybe memory lane, but they got a lot of the parts and stuff that they used to create. But this shirt's super cool. Now that they are in the EFI game and that they make tuners, we have one on Sierra's bike, been running it since, we've had her bike now for almost 2 years. It's been on there ever since with no issues. And they are getting ready to drop the VVTI, whatever Harley's calling their their variable timing. They're getting ready to drop that ECM here soon. And my twin cam swap bike is actually running one of their old school Thunderheart setups. So it's a really simple 8-wire to keep the carburetor, but to have a cam. I think they use, not the cam, the crank sensor for ignition. So you guys want to see that on an episode. But anyways, all this merch, they just sent us a ton of stuff. And you guys can buy all this on their website. I'm gonna drop the website right here. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna tell Jake to give you guys a discount. So 10% off if y'all use discount code MYM. So My Machinist, MYM, 10% for, I don't know, maybe a week or so. Thanks Jake, thanks Ryan, thanks Bobby, thanks Ben, thanks to all you guys. Let's get on what we're about to do here today. This is what we're working on today. 2023 Lowrider S, ST, S. Big takeaways from the 2023 year model. Obviously, you don't have the big fairing. It doesn't come with saddlebags. It's got the round kind of tack speedo combo, whereas Sierra's bike has the kind of more the LCD screen. Other than that, these bikes are identical. Same suspension, same brakes, same handlebars. Everything else on these bikes from the factory were the same. He bought this thing about a year ago.
A little less, yeah.
A little less than a year ago. He had a Street Bob before this, a Softail Street Bob. Traded it in, wanted to upgrade. Kind of wanted one of these, but the price was really good. Couldn't pass it up. Now that he's got it, he's wishing he spent the little extra. So we're going to fix that with the kit from Advanblack. So you guys have seen this. This has been out now for about a year and a half. And from first impressions, it's a really good kit. I've seen these things online. I don't know why. I just always thought this was a one-piece design, but it appears to be 100% the same everything as the OEM piece. Got the fairing, inner and outer, it's gloss, which is super cool. Sierra's bike, this is obviously all like kind of like that matte plastic. It does come with the windshield, a ton of brackets, wire extensions, because obviously you're going to have to extend the headlight, the turn signal extensions, because you're going to have to bring the turn signals down towards the bottom. It comes with a box in some white plastic, another one in bubbly plastic. We'll figure out what's inside those in a minute. Pretty beefy, doesn't feel real dingy. It's got good gussets. And this isn't a sponsored ad. He paid full retail for this. So basically it's going to come with everything that the factory one did. Just eyeballing it, it seems like anything OEM could actually work on this. So let's say you do have a bike and you wrecked it. I don't know if Advan sells just the shell or if you have to buy the whole kit, but it seems like a lot of these pieces should be interchangeable. We're gonna get the camera set up. We're gonna start by getting this old setup off. It's pretty straightforward. A couple of screws inside here, get the fairing off. Yeah, start bolting that one on. All right, we gotta get this outer fairing out. If I remember correctly, because it's been about 5 years since I've done this on my old bike, then we just get these 2 screws out. And then it should just pop off from the bottom. All right. Nope, I'm wrong. These screws down here, yep. Now are those Allens or still Torx? Those look like Allens, don't they?
They are Allens, yep.
Yeah, this is the same fairing. Obviously, my old Softail, which, well, I guess it was on the channel once, or actually a couple times, I rode it. But that bike, you know, obviously when I bought it, it had all this set up on there, and then I switched it out for the Road Warrior fairing from Memphis Shades. Off. All right, so we got this fairing off. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get these 2 screws out, and then we can take these 2 screws out and get the headlight separated. So those look like Torx. Man, Harley just wants to go back and forth, back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Some Torx, some not. Some Torx. Yep, 27. That is one thing also about these new bikes. You'll see a lot of blue Loctite on stuff.
Yeah.
I don't recall seeing as much Loctite on older stuff as I do these new ones. But being that this bike was actually a factory-equipped ST model bike, or model, like you could put an ST fairing on it, it should be pretty straightforward. It looks like what he was saying, because I haven't done any research on this, but Holly actually took a second to kind of research it. The bracket, he says, looks like it might attach to the tank, which means it should work on all Softails, not just the 22 and up that have the drilled frames. That's kind of cool. It's one bracket for all models. I kind of wish it did use the factory holes. I wish they made a 22 and up bracket and then a 18 to 21 bracket. That way you could utilize the actual factory locations. And all right, got that. Disconnect the headlight here. And all this stuff, again, we'll just be discarding all this because none of this will get used with the new setup. I usually don't have a second pair of hands when I work on stuff in here. It's nice. And people at home are going to be freaking out that I'm not putting a fender cover on here. Oh, yeah. We got the tank cover on. We're halfway legit. We'll drop this bolt right onto the fender. Because we are maintainers and we don't like directions, I'm going to take this bracket and just glance at what I think might be going on here. I think you are right. It does just use the tank mount hole. Yeah. I think it goes behind this wiring though. Yeah, that's what it uses. All right, so we're going to take the tank bolt out and then we'll pick back up once we get that out. The bracket does mount to the front of the frame like the factory 22 and ups do, but then it mounts to the gas tank tab, which is weird. I don't know why they didn't just use the factory hole that the cut fairings have. But you do have to remove, you got a little ABS. Let me see if I can get the camera over here. You got your ABS clamp right here, so you do have to remove this bolt because it's now positioned right there. And then when you got your new bracket on up here, you'll see this little screw, those 2 right there. That screws your lower bracket. So we're going to tighten those 4 up. We just tightened up our tank mount. And then what we're going to do, because he brought it up and it does make good sense, let's go ahead and remove these turn signals so we can pull these wires, route them back through the bars, because now the turn signals mount like that. We'll get these tightened up, and then we'll get these turn signals off. so he's getting the grip and front master cylinder all buttoned back up. Like I said, we had to remove the turn signals, so you want to go ahead and do that before you get anything else on, just in case you do have to maybe pull a few more wires out, but they slid right through. But this thing is all nice and snugged in, everything's tightened and torqued. We do have to separate that fairing to get the inner on first. So when we get it apart, I do want to still compare it to the OEM fairing, just so you guys at home can kind of see the difference in the quality. So far, I'm loving everything. The only thing, probably my one gripe so far, or two gripes. I wish this was gloss black. So you got a gloss black frame, as you can see on the genuine Harley. Well, that light's making a glare, but on the genuine Harley, this bracket's gloss black. And the bracket doesn't go all the way to the tank. It has the bolt hole right here. In 2022, they started doing that. This bike had the provision to do that with it, but they didn't utilize it. They came off the tank. I'm not a big fan of that. But other than that, so far, so good. Everything's good. Gives you the little cutout for the wiring harness with a nice rounded surface there, so it shouldn't chafe or anything. And everything else seems to be buttoned up pretty good. So let's get that fairing apart, and then we're going to show you guys the inner fairing mocked up on here. I guess it doesn't really go side to side, but it does go up and down. You'll just keep the weight all the way down on it. Let it rest on those ears. So these things slide on pretty good. Much like the factory setup, it's just the 4 screws actually hold this inner fairing to the bracket. It's got another beef up piece of steel, so it's actually sandwiching this ABS plastic together. Kudos again. This is a really, really good kit. Now while he's tightening that up, I wanted to show you guys real quick just the inside of this. And like I said, it's got pretty much all the same moldings and everything. You know, this isn't just a cheap fiberglass piece. I mean, they even got their name kind of lasered in. All the same clips, really nice, as this here genuine Harley Davidson piece. So like I said, this is one that was off my wife's bike. She had a little mishap, got a couple little scratches on it. So we just replaced it with a freshie. As far as I'm concerned, there's no difference in this than the Advan one. Double check all our work, make sure everything's good up to this point. If everything's good, then we're going to keep going forward. Let's get this out of here and see what that bracket looks like, if it needs to be. How's this one on here? So this one's on the outside of it. So these, you got these 2 holes. So oh yeah, you're right. It does need to go on first. You got to take these 2 screws out right here, and they need to go on this ring before this goes in. Yep, just like that. All right, so you got to mount the headlight ring into the fairing before the fairing goes onto the bike. Easy enough. All right, so this is that male to female adapter I was talking about. We're just going to plug this thing in one of these ways, and it's got a little clip on here. I'm assuming, kind of put it wherever. Where do I want to hold? What hole do I want to put it in? I'll just put it over here. All right, another reason 1,243 why I don't mess with the USPS. So obviously this thing got shipped. It got banged up. He was showing on the bag where they actually tried to repair the bag with new tape and everything like that. I'm sure Advan didn't sell it out like, or Advan didn't ship it out like that. It bent one of these tabs over. It scuffed this up pretty good. It's got some little marks and stuff right there. We're going to still install this. I'm going to try to bend one of these tabs over. He's going to take some pictures and send it to them. And maybe they'll send them out a new one. If not, we can just take it right back off, send it to the power coder, and have it back just in a couple of days. Obviously, it's still a good bracket. I mean, they made a good piece, but shipping really went to town on this thing. Man, that sucks. Yeah. So first thing we got to do to get the lower bracket on is you got to take these 2 bolts out for your top motor mount, and then we'll put this little bracket that the kit comes with. This thing just sandwiches underneath this bracket, or these bolts. We'll tighten it back down, and then our new hardware for the actual bracket. There it goes. So we'll start these, put the other 2 bolts in. Well, you have a whole lot of room to put washers and stuff on there. That screw's kind of almost at its limit, huh? Mm-hmm.
I like that so much better than being on the handlebars anyway.
Yeah, it looks way cleaner. Yeah. So it needs a loop through there, and then it needs to come or go the other way and come back in, and then we're going to route it through here back into this hole.
Yeah, that makes sense because I remember those little sticky clips they had on the inside right here feeding the wire.
All right, so lights are on. Everything, it came with these little clips. The wire extensions that it comes with, we actually did have to use those. So we got everything kind of in there. It's a little excess wiring, if you will, but I think once you get the fairing on, you're not going to see any of that. Lights, they're bolted on. They use these little spacers. I was going to zoom in on the spacer, but it uses a spacer and a screw on the back side. When Holly gets the new bracket, or we recoat this bracket, whatever they end up doing for us, we're going to put some star washers on here to keep this from accidentally twisting. But you do have this one screw in there that's got to go in there. But real quick, because I was trying to get the wiring and everything cleaned up in the tank, so I needed to remove the tank cover. You see those scratches right there? This bike was brand new. He's like I am. He's very kind of particular about his bike. Scratches on that side. This tank cover was used on that bike when we were doing some cutting and whatever on the tank or on the rear fender. And as you can see right here, if I can get it to unstick, boom. Like, these are magnets, and it had metal shards stuck to it just from being stored maybe on top of my toolbox, maybe on the seat of the bike, on the bike, whatever. Metal shards are on it. I didn't know it, and it scratched the tank. I'm super pissed off. He might act kind of okay about it, but I'm not happy at all. I don't like this. I'm cutting these magnets out. This is stupid. These things are form fitted. They already are going to fit over the tank just fine. They don't need all these magnets. There's magnets down here. There's magnets here. There's 4 magnets on here. I'm not going down the road with this thing on the bike, so I don't need it to be secured that much. It just needs to sit on top of the tank to keep from scratching and dinging and all that. I don't know if the Harley tank pouches or tank covers come with the magnets, but they do. Be mindful of this. I'm not thrilled. You can act happy about it.
I'll cry on the way home.
Yeah, you'll cry, but we're gonna wet sand and buff this. I gotta get some sandpaper. We're gonna blend this, and I already gotta wash all my handprints off, because if anybody's ever messed with an ST, you know, reaching down in there is a pain in the butt. Other than this mishap, everything's on there really good. So now we're gonna get back to putting the outer fairing outer fairing shell on the bike. Again, 6 screws. Make sure you plug the headlight up, and windshield, and the bike's done. So let's set you guys back up and do that. Alright, so there you have it. We got the Advanblack fairing on there. Overall, I'm super stoked on it. I think it's actually a really good piece for the money. There are some things like the grommets and the bracket and stuff that isn't quite the same quality as like OEM, but overall the mold that they used, the overall aesthetics of it, it's spot on. It's really nice. Headlights in there, everything seems really solid. I wish I had the correct style turn signal mounts. I don't like the just single bolt. It gives it the possibility of turning, but we're gonna try to fix that. That's it. I think he's gonna pull off, he's gonna take this thing around the block. When he gets back to the house, he'll get it unloaded. He'll check out to see what he thinks of the fairing or the windshield. Probably order a Clockworks. You can't really go wrong with the Clockworks products. And then bars and risers, possibly, and some other goodies for this bike. But I think we're gonna wrap it up. Another big thank you to Thundermax for the care package. That was super awesome. Thank you guys for sending that over. Thanks for being a part of what we do. And thanks for everything you guys do for the industry. Jake, you know, Millhouse, all you guys, y'all really do like bring a whole new aesthetics to the community, not just in the performance world, but you know, just everyone. The iRide system, the Thunder Hearts systems, all that kind of stuff. Guys from all genres of Harley Davidson motorcycling get to enjoy your products. I'm glad you guys see a little trust in us to have us be your ambassadors, something like that. All right. Either way, thanks you guys for tuning in, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Y'all take care.